Good morning, everyone. Today is the third day of a presentation. My topic is plagiarism and its types. It is from the paper research methodology. This is the table of content. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is wrong, misconceptions, and types of plagiarism. Now, what is plagiarism? Many people think of plagiarism as copying another's work or borrowing someone else's original ideas, but terms like copying and borrowing can disguise the seriousness of the offense. According to the Merriam-Webster online dictionary to plagiarism, it means to steal and pass off as one's own idea, to own, to use without crediting the source, to commit literary theft, to present as new and original an idea or product derived from an existing source. In other words, plagiarism is an act of fraud, and it involves both stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterward. This is what I have done. uh, the another thing is how plagiarism is wrong. Plagiarism is a form of cheating, theft, or stealing. And decide when you plagiarize, you are creating an opportunity for faculty and future employers to question your integrity and performance, which may lead to disciplinary actions. The another thing is denying yourself the opportunity to learn and practice skills that will be needed in your future education and career. This is what we are facing in our dissertation also. That as on my personal experience, when I was writing the introduction, I had wrote about 20 pages of introduction, and I was fetching so many materials from so many websites, research papers, and the tragic thing was that I forgot to cite it. And when I got to know that I have done 20 pages, and whenever I have from which site I have taken that idea from reference and all, I forgot it. So I had to rewrite the introduction, and when everybody was planning chapter 4, I was doing chapter 2. So this was my experience. So whenever you fetch some idea or some content from any source or any article, please try to cite it on any digital tool or on any or note it anywhere. The another thing is actions that might be seen as plagiarism, like copying from another source, or buying, stealing, and using the source closely, which is which is known as misconceptions. Anything you find on the internet is available for everyone to copy and paste. Therefore, you don't have to cite it. So it is a misconception. It is wrong. Just as hard copy information needs to be cited, so does information found on the internet. The another thing is anything you find on the internet is considered common knowledge. Therefore, you don't have to cite it. So this one is also a wrong. This is also a misconception. As with print or hard copy, information on internet may be or may not be common knowledge. Images, charts, and graph in the book can be photocopied. Therefore, you don't have to cite them. This is also untrue. Information written on or produced by someone else must be cited, whether photocopied or not. These are some common types of plagiarism: complete plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, source based plagiarism, direct plagiarism, self and auto plagiarism, accidental plagiarism, and inaccurate authorship. We also have the concept of deliberate plagiarism and accidental plagiarism, which two students and research scholars may face. Deliberate plagiarism deals with rewriting from books and articles. It is just copying and pasting from web pages and online sources, and buying, downloading, and borrowing a paper. On the other side, accidental plagiarism is a plagiarism which is not knowing, which we don't do by ourselves, not knowing how to paraphrase or summarize, and not knowing that what is the common knowledge is. And accidental plagiarism always turn up on recycling and old paper. The first type of plagiarism is complete plagiarism, which each and every person does this in whatever it is, in presentations, in assignments, in dissertation. Complete plagiarism is the most severe form of plagiarism, where a researcher takes a manuscript or study that someone else created and submit it under his or her name, and it is tantamount to intellectual theft and scaling. The another one is source based plagiarism. This plagiarism is, for example, when a researcher references a source that is incorrect or does not exist, it is a misleading citation. Plagiarism also occurs when a researcher uses a secondary source or data or information, but only cites the primary source of information. Both these types lead to an increase in the number of references source. This in turn increase in the citation number of the references. This is what we normally face in Wikipedia when we choose some source. There are multiple sources over there, and when we just cite one source, it will then be named as source based plagiarism. Third one is direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism is a plagiarism which connects from word to word, but it refers to sections of another paper. This type of plagiarism is considered dishonest and it calls for academic disciplinary actions. It is not as common, but it is a serious infraction of academic rules and ethics. Direct plagiarism is plagiarism which occurs when an author copies the text of another author word by word without the use of quotation marks or attributions. The other one is self or auto plagiarism. Self and auto plagiarism, also known as self plagiarism, it happens when an author refuses significant portions of his or her previously published work without attributions. Thus, this type of plagiarism is most likely to involve published researchers rather than university students. The severity of this kind of infractions is under debate depending on the copied content. So this copied content is very in issue. Students and research scholars also faces this type of plagiarism the most. Many academic journals, however, have strict criteria on the percentage of authors' work that is reusable. Many journals can run manuscripts through a plagiarism detection software before considering for them for a review. The another one is uh, paraphrasing plagiarism. This is the most widely type of plagiarism which everyone uses. This is very easy also. This is as published on widely the most common type of plagiarism. It involves the use of someone else writing with some minor changes in the sentence and use it as one's own. This type of paraphrasing plagiarism is very easy to do. There are many sites also which is making content of this paraphrasing plagiarism. It just make some sentence change, some verbs change. It just change some adjectives, some words, and your content is ready, but it is not the correct way to do. Even if the word differs, the original idea remains the same and plagiarism occurs. Because students often do not have a clear understanding of what constitutes plagiarism, there are recommendations for research and writing available to reduce the risk of paraphrasing plagiarism. The another one is inaccurate authorship. Inaccurate authorship or misleading attribution can happen in two ways. The first one is when an individual contributes to a manuscript but does not get the credit for it. The second one is when an individual gets credit without contributing to the work. This type of plagiarism, whichever way it occurs, is a violation of the code and conduct in research. It is also possible to commit this form of plagiarism when someone else edits a manuscript, leading to substantive changes. In this case, the recommendation to it is acknowledge the contributors at the time of publication, even if it is not listed as authors. The another one is mosaic plagiarism. It is a plagiarism which may be or more difficult to detect because it interlaces someone else's paraphrase or text within its own research. It is also known as patchwork plagiarism and it is intentional and dishonest. This is the most hard type of plagiarism. If we try to do this type of plagiarism, the time that the time that this plagiarism doing this plagiarism takes, we can write a research paper. So don't do this. The another one is accidental plagiarism. Whether intended or unintended, there is no excuse for plagiarism, and the consequences are often the same. However, plagiarism may be accidental if it is occurred because of neglect, mistake, or unintentional paraphrasing. Students are likely to commit accidental plagiarism, so universities should stress on the importance of education about this form of plagiarism. As we all have workshops over the how plagiarism functions, so this type of plagiarism is very important concept for students and research scholars to understand in a wide context. Thank you. These are my references.